So hi everybody and welcome to another tea break talk with Cerebra. I'm Elaine from the communications team, and fairly recently I caught up with Dr. Sam Chawner from Cardiff University about some research that he was doing into autism and genetic conditions. And Sam suggested that I also had a chat with the students that are currently working with him on placement as part of their psychology degree. So it's lovely today to be joined by 4 people. So I've got Francesca, I've got Jess, I've got Hannah, and I've got Ellie. So hi everybody.
Hi.
Hi. Thank you for joining me. I know it's very close to Christmas and you're probably starting to wind down a bit. So thank you for finding the time. So you're studying psychology at Cardiff, is that right?
Yeah.
Yes. So what year are you in?
We've done 2 years of our course. So this is our placement year. And then we've got one more after this, which is our final year.
So how long is your placement for?
4 years, yeah. Oh, the placement.
Yeah.
We started in the start of October, and I think we finish in June. So it should be 30 weeks.
Yeah, it's quite an in-depth one then, isn't it?
Yeah.
So did you get to choose where you went?
Yeah, there were different rounds, so we had a big list of all sorts of places. And we got to pick 3 options. And then if you get one of them, great. If you don't, then you go on to round 2, and then there's round 3.
Okay.
But I think we were all round 1 for this.
Oh, so you all got what you wanted. That's fab. Great.
Yeah.
So what made you choose to want to go and join Sam on this placement? What do you do about it?
Personally, I really enjoyed learning about genetics at uni on the course. We learned about that in a number of different modules, and I wanted to see what it would be like to work in a research environment, and because Cardiff is so good for research and there's so much going on all the time, getting a placement like ours was really valuable if you wanted to explore what it would be like to be a researcher after we finish. And I had some experience already working on a psychiatric unit, volunteering, so I wanted to sort of get something a bit different to that. So yeah, that's why I chose it.
Brilliant. So how's it all going?
So far I think it's been a bit different to what we expected. Because of COVID and everything. Like,
yeah.
Basically when we applied, that was back in February or January, something like that, before all this happened. So the job description was quite different. It was supposed to be a lot more hands-on, so actually visiting participants and interacting with them face to face. But now we've had to move everything online, so it's been a lot more admin stuff than I think we anticipated, and less sort of hands-on experience. But all in all, it's been interesting. I feel like I've learned quite a lot so far.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully as you go through the year, hopefully by the spring, perhaps things will get in better and you can get some of that hands-on experience as part of your placement. So what have you been working on? What projects? You all on the same project, or?
Yeah, all the same projects.
We're currently doing work with CMVs and genetics and how they influence child psychiatry and behaviour. So a lot of the stuff we've been doing is making our assessments accessible online. We've also been trying to recruit participants to entice them into Zoom visits rather than home visits. And we've also been working on a side project using data that was collected in the past. And that's been taking up quite a lot of our time, a lot of stats going on there, but it's been really interesting.
Yeah. You mentioned something then about CV, was it?
CNVs, yeah.
CNVs, because I know nothing about any of this. Explain to me what that is.
So CNVs are copy number variants, which is in your DNA there's either repetitive deletions or duplications of the bases, which can alter essentially how proteins are coded and then how either your brain like develops or certain things like that which affect how you behave and stuff. So a lot of the work we do is with 22q 11.2 deletion and 16p 11.2 deletion, which involves like a large chunk of genes that are missing, which has been associated with things like autism, schizophrenia, psychosis, especially in younger children when these things are usually more apparent in like adolescence to early adulthood.
Okay.
That's kind of what we do.
Yeah, okay. And I think Sam mentioned to me when I chatted to him that you'd all been heavily involved. Was there an awareness week recently and you were involved with the social media things?
So it was an awareness month, so 22q awareness month was in November, and we all together had made some really sort of fun looking and colourful sort of like posts just explaining our research and just making it a lot more like user friendly for all the parents and the children out there, like who are on our Facebook and Twitter and LinkedIn and stuff. And it was amazing, the interaction we got over like 500 views on every post.
Oh, fantastic.
And we really spread the word, and then some other organisations started using our posts too. So I felt like it was very different from what our team normally does. Normally they just do like a bake sale or something. Because we couldn't do that, we thought maybe we should try and utilise our socials because they hadn't really been using them in a few years. So we really sort of got that going again, and we had a really good response.
That's really good, because it can be a challenge, can't it, you find, when you're looking at sort of technical and detailed and scientific information, sort of translating that into something that parents can understand, that individuals can understand. It's quite a task sometimes, isn't it?
We tried to make it so that we started really sort of simple so that it could be accessed by anyone, and then as the month progressed, the information got a bit more complicated, but you would have seen the previous posts, so it would make more sense to parents and stuff, because although it's the second most common genetic condition after Down syndrome, is still not that much known about it. And so 22q 11.2, the name, that just explains where the change is in the individual's DNA. So the 22nd of November is 22q Awareness Day, so we just wanted to make the most of the whole month. So that's why we utilise the social media.
It sounds
on the actual day we did an Instagram takeover for Cardiff Uni.
Great.
So we had made a few posts, and then Jess posted a few videos explaining things, all on Instagram, on their Instagram story, which we hope reached a few more people than our page would normally, because obviously a lot of people follow Cardiff Uni Instagram that they would rather than our 22q research page.
And it's all about raising that general awareness, isn't it?
Some support groups for it on Facebook also shared all our posts, so sort of sharing increased the audience even more. So I think it's really good, because I think some of the names of the things can be a bit complicated at first, like 22q 11.2 deletion syndrome. People aren't really going to remember that or know what it means, so I think just like putting it in a more simple, accessible format is definitely good for a lot of people. It
doesn't trip off the tongue, does it?
No,
And I think what you've done is really important. It's important that people can understand these things, and that's a lot of what we try and do at Cerebra, is to take the research that we fund and lead that into something that's of use for people, and that it is literally translating, isn't it, into information that they can take and understand, and that will help them. So I think that's a really valuable thing to do. So what are you enjoying most about your placement? Has it been that awareness month? Or?
I really liked that. And also because we got more recruitments as well from the posts. So that it wasn't just awareness, it was also recruitment for us as well.
Great.
And I really enjoyed actually speaking to the participants and their parents, because when you're sort of studying everything, you get quite an objective view of all these words, and you just kind of think, okay, yeah, if you've got this illness, then you have this, like schizophrenia, and you kind of come quite detached from it all, trying to keep that scientific mind, but calling up the parents and talking to them and listening to their struggles and how it is with them, I've just developed a whole new sort of empathy towards it, and I feel like I want to kind of keep that personal sort of view whilst also being scientific professional, like throughout, if I want to go into research after this as well, because I think they're having so much struggles, and it's hard to book things online and like in their schedule, and with the whole year and everything, it's been really hard. So I think that's been the most valuable thing that I've definitely got out of this, is to try and adapt to the person and not get annoyed if they cancel or something, and just try and empathize with them. And yes.
Yeah. And it's that realization, isn't it, that what you're doing and the people that it's for, it's making that human link. You know, I find sort of I'll be sat at my desk and I'll be doing my job, and then I'll get something in from a family, or I'll have a chat with a parent, and then I thought, oh yeah, you know, that's why I'm doing what I'm doing, and it's a good thing. Anybody else got anything they're particularly enjoying?
Yeah, I've enjoyed our side project actually, because it's been a bit more hands-on research. Like, we've been doing lots of statistics and analyses of data to actually find some really interesting things that basically the data set's just been sat there not looked at for years now, and we found some interesting correlations between family environment and emotional and behavioural problems in children with CMVs. So I really enjoyed doing that actual research and finding things like that, because I feel like that can make a big difference if we sort of continue the research and it's applied in real life to sort of help people and understand that a better family environment can lead to better outcomes for these children. So it could implement, you know, social work and things. So I find that really.
So there's a whole range of things that have an impact, isn't it? It's never just one or two things in isolation.
Yeah. I think that's been very, very valuable as well, and being able, because at uni we do research, our course, but it's very different, and it's sort of for the purpose of writing up the report, etc. Whereas now doing research in an actual research environment and seeing the whole process through, I think it's been a really valuable experience.
Yeah, great. How about you, Ellie? Is there anything you've particularly enjoyed?
I really enjoy working with everyone and talking to people, because I think when you're stuck at home, it can be really lonely working from home. Like, none of us have even like stepped foot into the Hayden Ellis building, which is where we're supposed to work. We met Adam, one of our supervisors, in our initial interview, but again, we haven't seen anyone else that we've worked with. We've only seen people over Zoom. So having, first of all, 3 other people on placement with me is literally life-saving sometimes. Like, they genuinely keep me sane on a daily basis. And talking to families on the phone is really nice, because you feel like you're making a difference. You feel like when you talk to people, you're actually doing something important, rather than sometimes when you're just trying to you feel like you're making So yeah, stuff like this. I love Zoom meetings because I get to see everyone. Talking to people. That's kind of been my personal favourite, I think.
Yeah, it's been a very isolating year, isn't it? You just feel cut off from family, from friends, from everything, really. Are you all living away from home as well? Yeah.
I'm at home at the moment. I have been for most of this semester, but I'll be going back to uni in January.
Okay, yeah. Been a difficult year, so I think, you know, well done for getting through it, really, because it's really not been easy at all. And like you say, you know, thank goodness for Zoom, isn't it? It has become a bit of a lifeline for all of us. So hopefully, let's hope for a better year next year. Let's hope things will pick up. So thinking about the future, then you've got another 6 months on your placement, and then you've got your final year. So I don't know, you could look into the future and be doing your dream job, what would it be when you graduate? Or is that a tricky question?
Oh, I never know what to respond to that.
No.
I'd like to be a clinical psychologist,
Okay.
working with children or adults. I haven't really decided yet, but that's my dream.
That's the dream. Brilliant.
Yeah, I also want to get a PhD in clinical psychology as well.
Right, so, oh, right, I was just going to say, does that involve more study?
Yeah, it says, yeah, a lot more years of uni. But yeah, I think in an ideal world, that's what I'd love to be doing.
Okay. So do you think, Jess and Francesca, that you'd stay in research, or just going to wait and see what the world brings?
Yeah.
I quite like the idea of research, but also I'm keeping my options open. I've considered clinical psychology, although I think I would need a little breather from studying for a bit.
Yeah.
I think it's just intense. I don't know. I've worked a lot with children, and I think I work well with them. So even something like social work or counselling, I find that quite interesting.
But plenty of time to decide, isn't it? You know, the way off yet. How about you, Jess?
It's hard because, like, times like this, research won't normally be like this. Like, working in this placement, it's not normally like this. So I don't feel like I've got like a fully accurate view of what research really is like. So I do quite like research, but my main focus is just trying to help people, like, direct, just knowing that my work at the end of the day will help people. Like, that's the main thing for me, that'll make real differences. That'll definitely keep me driven.
Oh, I think that's fantastic, isn't it? It's such a valuable thing that you've been doing and you're all going to go on to do. So I wish you nothing but the best for all of you for the future. Thank you so much for joining me. It's been really lovely to chat to you. Maybe we'll catch up with you again in the spring. You know, maybe things will have moved on and there'll be more happening. But all the very best to you, and have a wonderful Christmas, and take care of yourselves.
You too, Elaine. Thank you very much.
No problem.